Hello and welcome to Baggies View. I'm Paul Bradley and I'm joined now by West Bromwich Albion correspondent Chris Lepkowski. Hi Chris.
Hi.
Well, you were at the game at the weekend, at that 3-3 draw. A quite dramatic game in the end. What was your verdict?
Dramatic, certainly an understatement. Well, I mean, first of all, people are going to sort of be treating Michael Appleton's one game with a little bit of criticism. What I will say in his defence is that he went out at the start with a bold formation, one we haven't seen before from, certainly not from Di Matteo this season. And Albion spent the first 15 minutes playing with complete abandon, really, almost as if they'd been unleashed. Obviously, they went 2-0 up very quickly, lost Joseph Malumbu and then got a third. I think Malumbu's absence was a turning point. I think perhaps Appleton made the wrong substitution with hindsight. Perhaps should have brought on a defender to move Paul Sharner into a sort of deeper midfield role, if you like, or even Gonzalo Jara. Went for a playmaker in James Morrison, and I think West Ham grew more and more dominant, and we're now hearing from West Ham players that Scott Park had a lot to say at half-time, which might maybe galvanise them. And when you've got a team like Albion, who've lost 13 out of 18 games and are conceding 2 goals per game, it only needs the smallest of setbacks, really, to knock them out of kilter, and just to reduce them to psychologically, if you like. And once Albion conceded that first goal, which came pretty quickly after half-time, it was starting to look inevitable what the outcome would be. My mind certainly went back to that 4-3 game at Upton Park a few years ago when Albion came back from 3 down to win 4-3. And although it never got to that stage, you get the feeling that had the game gone on for another 5-10 minutes, West Ham might have nicked it. But it really epitomised the lack of spirit and confidence in Albion that when, even at 3-0, when they conceded that first goal for it to go 3-1, you always felt that there was more danger coming along.
So there's some real concerns there for Hodgson then, isn't there? That considering that they had that 3-0 lead going in at half-time and weren't able to defend it, that's really going to be surely one of the first things Hodgson's going to address, I suppose, along with the psychological confidence issue as well.
Well, Roy Hodgson rather helpfully sat himself behind an advert saying, "Can you fix it?" and or "You can fix it if you like." Very appropriate in many respects because the defence at the moment is a mess. I think if there was one positive to come out of Saturday's game, it was the fact that he would have had a complete snapshot of Albion's problems within that 90-minute spell. Yes, they can score goals, they can create chances. I think they created more chances than basically most teams in the Premier League this season. I think only 5 clubs this season have created more chances in a single game. That was the stat I saw. So that isn't a problem. Defensively, they're a mess. Set pieces were all over the place. And, Albion players are being coached this. They are being trained what to do and being drilled. The players aren't doing it on the pitch. And questions have got to be asked about players' capacity to take on board information and to execute during matches, and indeed their concentration. Players in the Premier League shouldn't be making mistakes like that, and we can keep on blaming managers and coaches, but when they're doing it during training during the week, there should be no issues on a Saturday, but there are, and that's what the Roy Hodgson will have to address. And by all accounts, for all his faults at Liverpool, one thing he did do is make them very difficult to beat from corners and set pieces, and that's going to be his first task, really.
And then I suppose one of the next immediate things for Hodgson to do is to sit down with the likes of Ashworth and Appleton and work out how they can work together and exactly how it's going to move forwards from here. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, speaking to just a few contacts over the weekend, it would appear that Appleton was offered a senior coaching role during a meal they had on Friday. So that's good news because clearly Appy can only learn from working alongside somebody from Roy. Possibly another coach coming in, which we'll have to wait and see about that. But certainly, I mean, in the first instance, the first role is to end this horrible run that they've been on, and to to get the defence right for a game against Wolves. That's going to be a really tough physical game. It's going to have all the usual attributes of a derby, and it's going to be very high in tempo and pace, I suspect. So they're going to have to start work for that straight away, really, and address the problems as they go along, certainly the defensive ones. And yeah, it's going to be a key few days for Roy. He's not coming in at the greatest of times. I suppose no manager does when they replace a sacked manager. So it's going to be a tough few days for him, a tough few weeks. But he's at least got a team that can score goals. It's just at the other end.
Okay, Chris, well, thanks for that today. We'll be back and hearing from you later on in the week as we follow the Baggies' progress.